Hello and welcome to None Your Business, the podcast that takes a lighthearted look at life outside of work. My name is Nick Pearce and joining me today is a 2021 Melbourne Demons premiership player and recent 250 gamer in Tom McDonald. We're in his beautiful backyard where we have his freshly restored black Ford Mustang, as well as the mess and chaos of kid life with the kids' play equipment in the backdrop as well. We talk all things his love of barbecuing, cars, being a family man and having 5 pregnancies in the last 6 years, as well as ranking a personal favourite Fast and Furious franchise from 1 to 10. Hope you enjoy listening.
So where's the office? Back at the division?
Yeah, in the office, baby.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.
Welcome to None of Your Business. My name is Nick Pearce, and joining me today is a very special mate. He is the Brian O'Connor to my Dominic Toretto, otherwise known as, a man aging like a fine wine with his football career, Benjamin Button or the human cockroach, whichever way you look at it. Entering into 16 number...
Yeah, year 16 of footy, yep.
Yeah, amazing. Incredible achievement. But, mate, obviously the focus on this program is to not talk about what you're probably more commonly known for and as, and more so what you do outside of work. And we have this beautiful machine in the background, Lance. Can you tell me a bit about this Black Beauty?
Yep, so this is my 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. This was a passion project that started probably 10 years ago. It started probably with football, where I first signed a contract longer than years long, and I thought I had a little bit of spare money, so I bought a nicer car. I bought a Mercedes, a C-Class at the time, and thought it was awesome. It was awesome. It was really, really cool. And then I decided I needed something with a V8 in it. So I switched to a Ford Mustang, one of the newer ones when they were just coming to Australia. So I thought, let's switch that over. So I got the Mustang, and I put a sports exhaust on it and thought I was pretty cool. I would have annoyed all the neighbours, and looking back, it was a little bit boganish of me. But that sort of, ignited my love for cars. I was never really into them as a kid. I liked car movies and things like that, but cars never really came into my daily life. So I thought, I'll buy the Mustang. Had that for a couple of years, and then I thought, now I need to go get an old one. I need to sell the new one and get a classic. So I called my cousin, who's a big car guy. He's in the Geelong Hot Rodders Association, and decided to go down to Geelong and visit a few different car shows with him. And he just sort of said, let's just start looking, like he knows people around that would have cars like that. And I said, I've probably got a budget of 30,000, 40,000. Can we get an old Mustang? And we thought we'd get an old coupe, which is not the fastback style, which is this sort of slope style. Yep. Turns out they're way more money. And
How much more, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I got really, really lucky. Yep. But if you were to buy a fastback that was in decent shape, you were probably well over $100,000, and it wasn't in the $30,000 to $40,000 budget. Yep. But it turned out that a friend of a friend had imported one from the States 10 years prior. So this is probably 17, 18 years ago, and it had sat in the garage and never been touched. Now, it had no floors. The floors had rusted out, holes through the doors. Nothing worked, nothing ran in it, but it was an original car with all the paperwork that it's a matching numbers car. So it had the matching engine, transmission, all the paperwork coming out of a California factory when it was made in 1967.
Amazing. And
that was sort of where the value was. So I paid $33,400, which still was a lot of money for a car that wasn't running. Yeah. But we sort of rationalised it with the idea that even if I never touched it, it'll probably go up in value, and we'll see what we'll do, see what we can do from there.
Well, not many cars appreciate, so...
No. But this one was the exact sort of car that I would have loved, but I thought it was out of the price range. So for the next, I think, 5 years, this is pre-kids, so I had a bit more spare time.
A fair bit more.
I'd drive down to Geelong where my cousin Dino lived, and he had it in his shed, and we'd do 5 or 6 hours every Sunday just doing little things ourselves. So taking brakes and suspension off, tyres, taking the engine out. We took that to an engine builder, took the transmission out, took that to a transmission guy. Yeah. And, spent 5 years essentially going nowhere or going backwards.
Right.
Little things were happening to it, but it wasn't really becoming a drivable car, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. Yeah. And one day we were up under the dash, and I'm pretty tall, small car, and I was cutting my fingers up inside the firewall trying to, I think, put the clutch back in. And I just said, mate, can we pay someone to do this? Like, I'm sick of it. This is taking way too long.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so we'd done a lot of the hard work, and the engine builder had brought the engine back, and we were starting to put things back in, but the interior was proving to be really difficult. So we had to import things like that from the States. Yep. And then stuff doesn't fit, and
Jeez,
it's just a real
war of attrition.
fiddly, little job. But we were slowly getting there, and I ended up finding a guy called Ian who had this Mustang store up in Harcourt, and he fixed up classic Mustangs. So I said, if we brought you this car and the interior, can you put it back together?
Yep.
And it was always the idea that Dino's other friend in the Hot Rod Association was going to do the body work and the paint at the end. So delivered it up to Ian. I think he put the interior in over about 9 to 12 months. And then it went to Dino's mate in the Hot Rod Association. He did it every couple of months. He'd do a little bit more body work. We imported all the panels from the States, so they were replacement panels because all the other ones were rusted, and it's just a huge amount of work. And that was probably the biggest expense, was doing all the body work and the paint. Like that sort of job was between 40, 50,000, I think, to get that sort of done right.
Yep.
It was probably a little bit cheaper, but I think I was getting a bit of a deal from him as well. He was helping me out as a friend.
Yeah, fantastic.
But yeah, after about 5 or 6 years, we got it on the road and got it roadworthy, and now I drive it every week or so. I drive it to the MCG on game day, which I always think's a little bit of a treat. I think it was Sav Rocker was coaching for Carlton at one stage when I had my newer Mustang, and he put in and he had a Shelby Super Snake that he imported from the States after he'd been punting over there in the NFL. And I just fell in love with it. And so that's sort of what sparked it for me, was like, I'd love to drive the MCG in an old Mustang one day, and that's sort of kicked it off.
Admittedly, it is sort of like my dream car, I've got to say. So hopefully your keys don't leave them around. So I remember like the Shelby GT 500 in Gone in 60 Seconds was like, I just remember that film. I loved it. And I remember when you got this car, and it's sort of got the John Wick kind of aesthetic as well. So
I think it is the same year model as the Gone in 60 Seconds. Different. The GT 500 is a step up again.
Shelby,
like they're extremely rare and insane amount of money for those sort of cars. But this for me was it's beautiful and nice enough to be really proud of it, but it's not so nice that I'm not worried about getting the kids at all. I always wanted to be able to put the kids in, take them to school for a bit of fun, and
you're cool, Dad.
Not be worried about if leaves drop on it, or if someone puts a tiny scratch in it. It's not the end of the world. So
That's amazing.
I've tried to find a balance. If I didn't want it to be a show car that you never got out and never used. That was the whole point of getting it for me. Absolutely.
And I guess curious about being like almost a wrench monkey and like learning that skill. Was that something that you already had some experience with, I guess, working on growing up on a farm, or did you sort of have to learn from scratch when you were tinkering and toying away?
Nothing. Knew nothing at all.
Yeah.
And still know very little, to be honest. But Dino taught me heaps. He would just sort of show me how he would attack it. He's an expert in those sort of older cars, classic cars, old Aussie Fords and Holdens. So the Mustang was a little bit new to him. He's got he got an old hot rod that he's building at the moment. So he would just sort of muck around and show me, but we would get stuck and we'd just go to YouTube or ChatGPT and search online Reddit forums for answers, which is what I still do now. Like I had a few issues with my daily car, and I'd just watch YouTube videos on how to change spark plugs, how to change fuel injectors and coil packs. And so I can do little simple things. Yeah. I'm no expert. I'm not going to be doing big jobs by myself, but just those little things save you a bit of money, and it's a bit of fun. Like I find it a distraction from footy or something to do on a day off, and I don't know, you feel kind of proud when you get something done that saves you a couple $100 at the service centre.
Mate, I love doing Lego. I mean, it's adult Lego, and obviously got the Fast and Furious car here as well. I mean, did you take any inspiration, or how much did Fast and Furious help inform your car purchasing decisions?
Yeah, I think a lot of it came from, which we'll get to the films later, but the Tokyo Drift, the Mustang that he has in the movie is this car.
Drift King, DK.
Yep, and my one regret is that I should have painted that green. I love that dark green colour.
Like the bullet kind of, Steve McQueen.
Probably more the green in the Fast and Furious movie I loved.
Right.
So that's maybe the one thing I would have done differently, because the black is really hard to keep clean.
Right, we gave it a good furious wash before we started recording. So I appreciate that. It's looking a little bit beautiful. Better. Pristine.
But yeah, those movies, I think I just love the shape. I actually didn't know about the Steve McQueen movie when I first found out about it. Obviously do now, but I'd say it was the Fast and Furious movies and Gone in 60 Seconds that got me into the Mustangs. And look, I'd love a Charger one day, the Dodge Charger.
Yes.
Toretto's Charger, yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably the next dream car that I'd love one day, but I don't know if I can justify two, and I definitely don't have the space at the moment to be able to.
I've got the Lego version I can give to you if you like.
Yeah. So, what's your choice? If you've got a budget of, I don't know, 150 grand, so you've got a decent budget, what are you going to go for?
Mate, to be fair, I genuinely do love the Mustangs. But again, sort of the nuffy in me, like watching so many videos now, I think I'm in the algorithm of Skylines. I think I have to go for the GTR would be my preference.
The full paint job, or?
Oh, I think it'd be a bit more understated, but definitely a neon. And I'd love to try NOS one time. I mean, how do you does anyone know how to, if anyone knows how to actually do that, if anyone's listening and can write in how you can get some NOS and how it works.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Let's try and solve it together, maybe with some YouTube videos. But I guess that's, one of the outlets that you have. And what I was really drawn to, I guess, in terms of doing this project, was the fact that you had, so many dimensions to you, and, the cars, but also barbecuing is a big part of your fabric. And there was this period, I think it was 2021, where I actually want to read an extract from talking about AI perplexity, where it says, in 2021, Tom McDonald was widely discussed for following almost an all-meat carnivore-style diet that he credits with improving his body composition and on-field performance. In a Melbourne club feature during the 2021 season, McDonald said he ate a heap of protein, going through roughly 3 to 4 kilograms of steak plus 1 to 2 kilograms of chicken and fish each week. Is that sounding right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
While only having vegetables occasionally and not seeing them as a core part of his diet. Now, does that remain? Are we still having veggies or?
No, we're having veggies. I'd say I'm back to a much more normal sort of athlete diet at the moment.
Yeah. But what was the logic behind that? I mean, where did you sort of, take this deep interest in meat? And I apologise for all the vegans, vegetarians listening. Probably not the episode for you today.
Yeah, Benny Brown and me were on the opposite ends.
Yes,
so
yep.
Benny played for Melbourne at that time, and he's a stout vegan. He's also celiac, so quite a limited diet. So
yes.
And he was actually very respectful about it, and I tried to be respectful of his position as well. Like, he was interested in what I was doing and why I was doing it.
Yep.
But it probably started back in 2013. We had a new fitness boss, and we had a guy came in, I think it was Peter Bruckner, and might have been Peter Oakes or Peter Noakes. Anyway, he was a low-carb sort of diet expert who was in the world of endurance sports, marathons and cycling. And he had the idea that for sports like ours, are the big endurance base, that a lower carb paleo diet could help our performance. So a lot of our players went through and tried it, and I did it. I was quite keen to try it for a 3 or 4 month period, and I lost quite a bit of body fat. My running went, I'd say, probably 20-30% better in terms of my endurance running, but I'd struggled a little bit with sort of power in the gym and your speed work in out on the field and that sort of thing. So I felt good in a lot of ways, but a few drawbacks, and in the end, a lot of the players were similar, and they sort of backed away from it going into the season. So we did it through the pre-season, off-season.
Yeah.
But found the science of it really interesting. Did a lot of reading and got a bit obsessed, which probably sums my personality up a little bit. Get a little bit obsessed with things and get into it a bit deep. So anyway, that was 5 or 6 years, probably more, 7 or 8 years prior. And I'd had a really poor season in 2020. It was the COVID year when we moved up to Gold Coast, Brisbane, Maroochydore, those sort of areas, and we were jumping around from hotels. Yeah. I just had my first daughter, Bella. So I was trying to figure out how to be a dad. I'd had some minor injuries through that footy season. I know we're not doing this is not really the footy chat.
Yeah,
side
no,
of
that's
it,
fine. No footy or politics from you, thank you.
No. We can get into politics as well if you want. And so I'd had a really bad season and struggled a lot with the hub, and I'd put on a bit of weight being injured. Like when I say put on weight, it wasn't like I'd put on 15 kilos of fat and I was obese, but in footy terms, I was probably 3 or 4 kilos heavier than I was previously when I was playing my best footy. Yep. And I sort of wanted to go back to trying that low-carb diet, but to do it a little bit differently. And a few people I'd spoken to said doing a carnivore version rather than a keto low-carb version may help you feel a little bit better with the gym side of it. Yep. And to give it a go. So I just jumped into it flat out. On the first day of the off-season is normally Mad Monday, where the boys all go and smash beers and have a big day, which we all should, you should do. It's good fun. But I sort of set myself a mission. I was close to getting traded. Melbourne wanted me to leave. I still had a year to go on my contract, and I didn't really want to give up my footy career and just have a shit year to finish and just sort of see it out. I thought I had more to give. I think I was 28, 29 at the time. Yeah.
Well, so obviously evidently a lot more to give.
Yeah. So I set myself a goal to lose 5 or 6 kilos, and I thought I was going to do it doing the carnivore diet. Yeah. Which I did for, I think, about 6 months straight. And amazing. I reckon I'd have maybe a day each month where I'd go off it, and maybe I'd catch up with you boys, and I might have a beer and a Parma. Yeah. And then the next day I'd go back to, I'd usually have 2 rump steaks at lunch.
Yeah, give us what did it look like. So brekkie to dinner, if you wouldn't mind running us through sort of your.
I would probably not have brekkie. I might have a coffee.
It was like was it like a magic? I remember it was like a magic or something.
Magic, and then sometimes there was a coffee called a bulletproof coffee, which had MCT oil, heavy cream, and maybe butter in it. So
what
it was
taste like?
It's delicious, really creamy, buttery sort of coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
Heaps of fat in it, so it was meant to keep you full until you would eat in the afternoon.
Right.
pretty wild and a bit wacky. But
Yeah.
So I'd do that, and then at lunch, at the time, there was these Wagyu rump steaks at Woolworths that were really cheap.
You're right.
And so I'd get 500 grams of steak, and I would literally just have that by itself. Maybe have like a garlic butter on the side or something, or something to go with it.
Wash it down.
And then be something similar at night, or like a slow cooked, might be like pulled pork or brisket. And
Yeah.
I wasn't super strict with like sauces and things like that. I'd have things on the side.
Yeah.
A lot of people who've done this diet have done it for autoimmune issues and seen results because they cut everything else out. I never had any of those issues. For me, it was just to lose a bit of weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was sort of the diet. It'd be like steak at lunch, steak at dinner, or pulled pork or chicken breast with maybe garlic butter or some sort of sauce with it. It's pretty bland and boring, but it's definitely not, it doesn't make you feel like you're going hungry. Like you can eat until you're full.
Amazing.
And it just, I think it essentially works because you cut out a lot of calories.
How did you feel sort of, I guess, like, you know, in yourself, like when you were doing that? Was it like the best you've ever felt physically and mentally, or was it sort of just a different
It was probably similar to the first time I did it, in that a lot of things got better because I was lighter and training better.
Yep.
There was still a slight drawback where when I got to really heavy footy sessions where you'd run, 15, 16, 17 kilometres, I would start to cramp.
Yeah.
And I sort of put that down to, your glycogen stores. Sorry, this is a bit nerdy, but
it's okay.
If your glycogen stores run out, you're much more likely to cramp. And so that was happening for me, I think. And that's where I sort of struggled a bit. So what I did was I went into the season, I would load up on rice. I'd still do that diet through the week.
Yep.
And then I'd load up on rice the night for a game and the day of a game.
Wow.
And that season, I got back into the team and probably had my best overall season. And
in the flag the next
year. And we win the premiership that year. So it just sort of got on a roll. We started really well and I was playing good footy. And by the end of that year, I'd burn out a little bit because I started training on that Mad Monday and essentially didn't have a break until the end of the season. So I was pretty cooked. I was getting Toradol injections in my ass before the grand final and the final series. So my back had sort of given out.
Yeah.
So I sort of look back and I go, I needed to do that to save my career. But in hindsight, it's not a good lesson for long-term performance. Like I just didn't take a break for 12 months.
Yeah.
Trained really, really hard. And I suffered for the last few games of the year. My final series was a lot flatter than the start of the year.
Well, 2 snags in the granny.
2 snags
Junk
in the granny
time,
right at the end. Yeah, a few junk times.
Still to your name.
But that sort of cooking and that style of eating got me, I think, kept me in still playing footy now 4 or 5 years later. And
amazing.
Even though I don't do it to the T, I still eat a much more high protein diet. And now I really love my cooking, and we get into it. As you've seen, we do a lot of barbecue.
Yeah. Well, miraculously, I think you had Bella, and then Leo came along, and very shortly after, I don't know what possessed you guys, you decided to host like a American barbecue extravaganza at your place.
Yep.
And I think I remember asking your wife Ruby about it, and she said, I don't even know what we were thinking, but you hosted like 25 odd people and some big boys and put together an absolute feast. There was a jalapeno poppers that were wrapped in bacon and stuffed with cream cheese. You had the pulled pork, the brisket, and you also had like a newborn baby you were trying to tend to, and the slaws and everything. But I guess that American style of like barbecue cooking, like where did that interest come from, and why are you so passionate about that?
Yeah, I reckon it's probably, we went on a trip together to the States in 2017, I think, was it?
We did, with Dommy Tyson, and I think Gorney was there for
Gorney
part
was
of
there,
it.
Harmsy, James
yep.
Harms.
Yep. Good crew.
Yeah, so we had a great trip, and I really loved that American style food of, the brisket and the pulled pork and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just got interested in it, so I bought a smoker when I got back. I think I had 6 barbecues at the old house. We've only got the one here at the moment, or 2.
So what were, if you wouldn't mind running us through, what were those 6 barbecues, and what was the purpose of having 6 barbecues? Because I assume they all do a pretty similar thing.
No, they're all very different.
Very different. Apologies. It's my ignorance. It's what you learn.
We have I had like a normal gas barbecue.
Yeah.
Cooking steaks and general things on. That was my main one. Then I had this thing called a caveman grill, which we can maybe edit a little bit in it later. It's a tiny little stand-up grill that heats a ceramic plate from the top to 1500 degrees, and you put a steak in for like 2 minutes on that side, flip it over, 2 minutes that side, and it's done.
So like Instagram kind of, you see those reels where it's just
hot,
like,
sizzle the hell out of it.
Okay.
So I bought that from America, got it here, and it didn't plug into our gas, or it wasn't working with our gas connection. So I sent them an email saying it's not working. So they gave me a full refund.
Great.
So I had the thingo and went to a gas plumber, and he fixed it up and got it working. So I got a free one there pretty much.
Yep.
I've got the big green egg, which is the traditional charcoal sort of egg cooker.
Like the that's how you do the pulled pork.
You can do everything in it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Really nice. I got that as a gift from our obstetrician, Tom Cade, who's a legend. So
Brilliant.
He gifted that one to us.
Good gift.
I have a Heston Blumenthal like charcoal grill.
Yep.
That was from Ruby's grandparents who weren't using it anymore.
Amazing.
I had a pellet pit smoker, so
That's
like
right,
an automatic pellet one. So you
Yes.
just feed the pellets in, the wood pellets, turn it on, and it'll smoke a brisket through the night for 20 hours. You don't have to touch it.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, maybe this little one here, the little Ziegler small ones. That's the only one I brought from the house that we moved out of.
Where the other? If you mind me asking, where have you?
A couple have been sold.
Okay.
One's still at the house that we're selling. The green egg for aesthetic purposes. When we sell the house, it looks quite nice.
Yep.
So I'll bring that one with me when we move. But
Yep.
we're in the rental here and won't be here forever.
Yeah.
So all do different things, and it was a little bit. Some of them I just found on Marketplace. Some were gifts, and I don't know. I just got obsessed with it and common theme. I get obsessed with things.
Like cars. Did you ever have them all running at the same time? Have you ever had like 6 going at once and you're cooking different things and running around like
I
a
reckon
maniac?
when new boys came over, there was a good 4 or 5 of them. Yeah,
You did it, and you had cocktails going. Like you had the full show.
We
I just
will
don't
do
know
it
how you
again.
did it.
Yeah,
I look forward to it at the new place. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
but it came from America. I think it was our trip.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time in Texas.
Was there any barbecue places that particularly you were taken, by, like Franklin's or
We
Terry
never went to
Black's
Franklin's.
or
So Franklin's is the famous Austin, Texas one.
That's the line for like 4+ hours.
You got to line up at 4 a.m. So I never got around doing that. I was probably too hungover to get up in the morning at 4 to go and do that when I was on holiday.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was just in Texas. Any place we went to, we just thought it was the best.
That's right. Ironworks we went to one night. I remember that was pretty
good.
decent. It's funny because I reckon your idea of a holiday, I think I mentioned in Dom's wedding speech, like it's very different as a professional athlete. You guys still have to, so you travel obviously and you combating jet lag, but you're still having to continue a program. And I think it was like, run, gym, some other sort of form of exercise. And then you can't even start your holiday till like midday. So your period that you're away is almost 7.5 entirely. So admire you guys because it's not really a proper holiday.
Your only real holiday is probably the first 2 weeks of the end of the season, but quite often you don't book a holiday for them because you're hoping to play finals and you want to see, do you make it into the grand final, and you can't really book when you're going to go away. Yeah. But I know you didn't like that part of it. Sergeant Tyson
absolutely.
would,
we had a friend of the show, and he ran a pretty strict regimen, and there was a mutiny at times, just in terms of how much we were having to exercise.
Right,
well, myself in particular, not being a professional athlete, traveling with professional athletes was a good lesson.
Yeah. But I kind of liked it because it was a reason to get up. You do your running.
Yeah.
If you try and find a gym on the same day, get your gym done, get something to eat, and then the day would start. And I don't know, it just sort of made you feel like you had accomplished something in the morning. But it is kind of nice when you do a holiday, especially with the family, when you don't have to feel like you've got 3 or 4 hours of training before you start your holiday.
And you tackled Japan, which is like almost insane. I can't believe it, with 3 young ones.
Yeah. That wasn't ideal for training Japan.
But an amazing experience recently, right? Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
And how
really
did you find places to train in Japan? Like how do you sort of seek them out?
Well, on that trip, this was just last year, I knew that we were going there, and I knew it wasn't a running place where it's easy to find. There's no footy ovals and cricket ovals in Japan.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of training early again, and then knew that those 2.5, 3 weeks would be difficult. So I knew that would be a little bit of a break. So instead of running every second day, it would be every third or fourth day I'd run, and it'd be a lot more running on the road. Gyms were still fine. And I'd just get up at like 5:30, go and run along the streets of Tokyo. And then when the kids and the family would get up, I'd meet them and we'd go get coffee and start the day. So that was, you're just trying to mold it to make it work for, you don't want to totally neglect it from a footy point of view, but I don't want to ruin my family's holiday either, and something we'd waited for a couple of years to go and do.
No, absolutely. I think, what is it, like that notion of, we work to live, not live to work. So that balance is important. Absolutely. I mean, I guess I want to sort of take us back a little bit to that premiership year, if you don't mind talking about that. So 2021, the meat diet. I remember even to the extent where yourself and maybe Sammy Wiedemann were like in Macca's parking lots, just you'd order a burger without anything else, just the burger patty itself. Is that right? Or in a lettuce cup, and you're smashing them pre-training?
So we trained out of Casey Fields, which is Cranbourne sort of area. And what a lot of people online, because I was always looking for ways to keep the diet going when you're out and about.
Yep.
And a lot of people said, go to McDonald's and get the Angus beef patties, because they're as healthier meat as you could get at a takeaway sort of scenario.
Right.
And just get them with cheese or them by themselves. So me and Guido would drive to the McDonald's down the road, get like 3 of the big Grand Angus patties, which are like $2 each, and stuff them down. And that was probably 500 or 600 grams of meat, so a couple hundred grams of protein.
Is that with that buttery coffee as well? You'd wash it?
No, this would just be just the just the burgers.
To be doing a lot of work, I reckon.
Yeah.
Digesting while you're training.
So we do that, or we go to a charcoal chicken place and just get a plate of meat and just have the lamb and chicken gyros meat by itself. And
unreal.
It sort of caught on. A few boys would go, this is pretty good, I'm going to come get that, and they'd have that for lunch.
Yeah, I love it.
Angus Brayshaw did the opposite. One day, the boys challenged him to see how many Subways he could get done in an hour. So they said, if you can do 4 foot-long subs with a 600ml Coke Zero,
incredible,
he gets it paid for. And Gus loves his money.
Yep.
Does not want to pay for anything. So this is a free lunch and Subway all in the one day.
Yeah, well, 4
So
Subways.
So Gussie managed to get all 4 down, 600 mils of Coke down, and then come back and did weights in the afternoon somehow and didn't pass out.
I mean, he had a phenomenal footy career, but that could be the most impressive thing he's achieved. That is remarkable. I guess the other secret ingredient or success for that year might have been, again, I have this paraphernalia here for a reason, but could you tell us a bit about the team building exercise? Was it Goody who orchestrated it to the cinema, which rallied the troops for the 2021 flag? There was an experience.
I don't know if it was Goody, but we have a program at the footy club where it's sort of a leadership, cultural building program where on a Tuesday morning you come together in groups and there'd be things like talking about your family or hardships, or it could be a whole list of different things. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're quite serious. Guys would be in tears or of laughter or sadness telling their story. And then every third or fourth week we'd break it up and do something fun. So sometimes it might be go and play cricket in the gym for an hour, country v city or whatever it may be. And then this day, Fast and Furious 8 or 9 was coming out, I think.
I think it was 9. It was the one
Where they go to space.
with Jacob, with John Cena.
Is that when they go to space?
Yes.
Yeah, it was space because
John Cena.
Gus Brayshaw comes into the story as well. We all went there. I was super pumped.
Is the whole team?
Whole team.
Yeah. And how many guys do you reckon, like, as a ratio? Like
probably 10 are into it. And 25 are ambivalent, and then 5 are just, this sucks, get me out of here. And Gussie's one of those ones who's never watched it, didn't like the extravagance of as it got along further in the series.
Right.
And I think when the Pontiac Fiero went into space, Gus said, can we swear?
Yeah, I think so.
Gus said, get fucked, I'm out of here. And got up and walked out of the...
Just the D's in there, or was other people watching?
No, we had it to ourselves. So
okay.
I think Michael Hibbert and Gus got up and walked out and just said, this is so fucking stupid. We are so done with this. And meanwhile, I was in the front row cheering it, loving it, like just carrying on.
Yeah.
And we went on to win the flag. So I think we went again the next year and booked out the cinema trying to recreate the same thing going into finals.
Yeah.
I don't know if we watched Fast and Furious, but we watched something. We lost in straight sets.
Well, that's the reason.
Tried to do it again in the next year, lost again in straight sets. So I think we've sacked the movies. That's not happening anymore.
Well, maybe just because we went Fast and Furious movies, that's the reason.
Maybe this year when the one comes out. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've seen it on Instagram, like this meme, this anime where it's like, I see you two are a man of culture. Have you seen that? And what I mean by that is that you are also a big Fast and Furious aficionado like myself.
Yep.
So what I wanted to do, and why I've got this paper here, is I've written out the 1 to 10. I probably do know them off the top of my head, but I'm going to list them for you. And I just want you to run through your order and what are your favourites and why, and sort of the key moments. If you have a favourite car in there as well, please feel free to sing out. So we'll start with number 1, Fast and Furious. That was 2001, apologies. 2 Fast and Furious, 2003. I know that's got a soft spot for you. The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which I think you quite like as well.
Yep.
Fast and Furious 4, now that gets a bit funny, I reckon, for mine, but still watchable. Number 5 is my favourite, Fast 5, 2011. 6, Fast and Furious 6, 2013. Furious 7 was 2015. We lost Paul Walker then. I still get emotional with the See You Again, Charlie Puth. Who's the other singer in that?
Wiz Khalifa?
Yeah, it makes me cry. And then there's The Fate of the Furious, which I think was the one pre-John Cena was with, what's her face, Charlize Theron as the villain.
As Cypher, yep.
Yep. There is the Hobbs and Shaw entry, which we don't credit. F9, The Fast Saga, 2021, which was obviously the key ingredient to the D success, and Fast X, which was the more recent Jason Momoa.
Yep.
So from your top, we'll start with 1. Like, what is your favourite?
Number 1 is Too Fast, Too Furious.
Can you give me a reason why?
Soundtrack, 2000 sort of culture when we were growing up. That was like, I just remember that from my
Start
childhood.
of that film is probably,
The race with Fonzie, that was all time with he's got the old Dodge
There's
Challenger.
Not Mustang, there's Challenger.
No, he's a Challenger.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Roman Pierce. Scene when he puts the rat in the bucket and then heats it up with the blowtorch and he chews into his stomach. As a kid, I had nightmares.
Yeah, me too.
Not as scary now, but as a kid, that was terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's number 1 by far.
Yeah,
and it's like the forget about it car.
Yeah.
With Paul Walker. Paul Walker was at his best in number 2, I think.
Yeah. I feel like Chris Petrarca loves also quoting, Too Fast, Too Furious is one of his favourites. And number 1, he loves, this is for you, track, SWAT, come into my house. So then we go to number 2, which is my...
Fast 5.
Yeah, my personal favourite.
Soundtrack again.
Brazil.
Unreal, the setting. The towing the safe through the streets,
Yeah.
all-time scene.
I think the end scene that is it Domama, the song, Danza Kazuro, that is just a classic song, and that I actually make a conscious effort now when we go to weddings to
put that
request
on.
that, and no one else gets it, but I get it.
And
I think
me.
you get it as
We
well.
dance to it at
and
the
make a
wedding.
beeline for each other. So I'm glad to see that's so highly ranked. Now you've got number
Tokyo
3,
Drift 3.
which is interesting. Like I really enjoy it, but look, to be fair, I quite like some of the latter entries, sort of like 6, 7. So I wouldn't have it there. But yeah, tell me why you like.
The sort of different car scene. I've always loved drifting because as a kid when I grew up on the farm.
Can you drift? Yeah, like have you?
So we used to have an old beach buggy sort of paddock bomb that we'd had on the farm where I grew up. So I grew up like 5 hours out of Melbourne. And that was an old 3-speed sort of buggy that was manual and the brakes were only rear brakes. So I could learn to sort of drift that around the paddock and through the mud. So I always loved the idea of drifting and loved the car scene, the music.
Yeah.
And my favourite scene is when Vin Diesel pulls up at the end and says that he knew Han. So
DK.
That's awesome. So that was number 3. What did I have as number 4?
Well, also on that note, I've seen that Han, the actor who plays, he's actually releasing like a drifting film very soon, like his own, which looks really interesting.
We'll lock that in for the team to watch.
Absolutely. So number 4 is the OG.
Yep. I think it's sort of self-explanatory. It's just where it started.
Say no more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
racing the Ferrari scene.
Well, you can afford, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Now I want to buy one of those Ferraris, the Ferrari 360.
So what does that go for? What does that at retail at?
I've seen them about 150 grand, so way too much money.
So if you sell the Mustang, you might
maybe
be
we could swap. Yeah.
No, that's good to know. Now we have, interesting.
From here, I sort of don't care as much. Like, I still watch them, but
I'm not sure about this. So this is number 4, Fast and number 5, but like the 4th entry, Fast and Furious, which is from memory when they traffic. They go across the border, and there's the reveal of what's his name, the big Braga.
Braga, yeah.
That's right, the villain. So
from here, they kind of blend into one, other than obviously when Paul Walker dies.
So 6 and 7, it's interesting. So you've got number 6 as number 6 and number 7 as number 7.
Yep.
See, I think they're quite good entries, underrated, because you've got obviously the Jason Statham sort of in 7 and the Paul Walker sort of homage, which is beautiful.
But this is when they become ridiculous. For the people who haven't really watched them, this is when they become more stupid in what they become action movies, Avengers style movies rather than car movies.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And then lost me a little bit.
8, 9, you've got Fate of the Furious as 8.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, sort of rolling through. So what are your expectations and hopes for the final entry? Like, what would you like to see?
Well, I would like a bit more of
stand?
street racing, some realistic street racing
Which
scenes.
they've said, so
is
from
coming.
what I've seen, Vin Diesel has been pretty staunch about that.
Yep.
Which is good to hear.
But then we've seen in the promos that Cristiano Ronaldo's in it, which who
Yes.
knows why, what's going on there.
Yep.
But, look, I'll still see it. I'll still see it when they're up to number 88. I'll still go to the cinemas and watch
Same.
it because I'm invested.
What do you like? Like, what do you like about it?
I
can
think
talk to you
for me, the
yeah.
soundtrack gets me.
That's
I
what
love
it
the
is.
cars and the soundtrack
Yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
it's
why.
such a
It just
foreign-
bring back when I watch Too Fast, Too Furious, I just think of being a kid again and listening to those songs for the first time.
There are those, deep nostalgia beats.
Yeah. I think it's more nostalgia than anything that I like about it all.
Is there a favourite, like, villain, like, throughout the...
Probably DK, Drift King. I loved his car. I like the
He
his
had the
little henchman.
Nissan 350Z, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of grey with the black decal. Yeah.
Actually, the Too Fast, Too Furious guys,
Verone's
Verone's
who
very
ends
good.
up playing, what's his face in Yellowstone?
Yes, yeah. I'm only a few episodes into Yellowstone, so
You're liking it?
well, I've sort of put it on pause. I thought we were going to talk about TVs later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I will get to Yellowstone.
It peters off a bit. Mate, that's brilliant. And like it's the other thing you sort of juggle. So amongst cars and barbecuing, you have your own little footy team as well. So how do you and Ruby, your beautiful wife, like manage? Like you obviously have got a small army. Your schedule because it's pretty hectic. I mean, I was talking to Danny. Obviously, he's been one of our guests, and even us with just 2. You know, how do you guys manage that? And I imagine it takes a village.
Yeah, I guess. So we have 3 kids currently. We've got a 4th on the way, and we had a 5th baby who we lost, Goldie, halfway along. So Bella's 6 years old. She's just started primary school.
Yep.
Leo's 4. He's in kinder. Then we had Goldie, who we lost at 20 weeks.
Yep.
She came early and was not viable at 20 weeks, so we lost her. But we still, like the kids talk about her every day.
It's amazing.
We
I feel
tried
like
not to make this something that we would skip over or avoid. Our sort of strategy was to tell people, share it with our kids, tell them what happened. Don't try and lie about it or make them feel better.
Yep.
So we treat her as one of our own. So we say we've got 5 kids
Yep.
here now. Little baby Hildy, who's just inside at the moment. She's about a year old, and we've got a little boy coming in. 20 weeks. We're halfway. So we had the 20-week scan this morning, and all looking positive, which for Rubes is a big mental hurdle to get over because 20 weeks on the dot is when we lost Goldie. So, like a juggle, there's a lot of, as you know, a lot of logistics in the who's where. And
your double us. Yeah.
Footy is there's good hours in terms of it's not a, 50, 60 hour week, but it's very variable in terms of where we are, what hours are in places, travel, locations. So it's a lot of just getting organised.
Yep.
Fortunately, in season, we actually quite often get to either pick the kids up from school or drop them off. So as long as we're organised, we can sort of manage it all. Rubes has stepped back from work for the next sort of, probably 6 to 12 months while we get this fourth one out.
Yeah.
And then we have, our parents on both sides. None of them really live in Melbourne, but they're both quite helpful in coming down, stay for a couple of nights, and they go back to the country.
Yeah.
And then we've got a neighbour who comes and babysits for a couple of hours here and there. And
brilliant.
Yeah, we drop kids off to your house.
Well, this is what it takes, as you say, to get you on the park, though. I think people probably don't understand, like, sort of, what it takes to get you to drive to the G in your Mustang. Or, So I have to say as well, I think, Ruben, yourself, as you say, you honour Goldie so beautifully, and you're right, your kids, speak about it all the time, and you can see it everywhere. So I think you do such a wonderful job in honouring her spirit. And it's exciting, I imagine, to have, another boy on the way for Leo. But I guess, like, my next sort of, train of thought is there a trip that you've been on with your kids, or just yourself and Rubes? Like, we have a Merry Moments segment sponsored by the Oberon boot, which is a fantastic boot coming out, or should be out by the time this potty's released. But has there been a trip or an adventure or a holiday that you just really loved for a particular reason or sticks with you?
Well, I do one with the family and then one before. So with the family was Japan last year.
Yep.
We'd sort of planned it for a long time, doing something out of our comfort zone with the kids and doing something completely different. And just the kids embraced it. Like, we tried to go to a Japanese restaurant every week for the 2 months leading up to get them used to new food and new culture and that sort of thing. And it was incredible going to Disneyland Tokyo and Universal Studios and going through all the Dotonbori section in Osaka was just mind-blowing for the kids. And we loved it, had so much fun.
How did you manage the logistics of that? Because I feel like that's, obviously we did a few months away last year, but again, 3 kids, prams, everything. Like, I imagine it's a holiday, but also it's like, it's a logistical operation.
We got there and we thought, well, we'll do one pram for Hildy.
Yep.
And the other 2 kids can walk. And we got 3 hours in and Leo said, my legs are going to snap off, Dad. So we had to go spend $1,000 to get a double pram to push the other 2 around in.
Yep.
And so we were doing like 40,000 steps pushing the pram. So we were just cooked, me and Rubes. But if we didn't get that pram, it was going to be our marriage or the trip was ruined. So we've got to get this pram to get them around.
Yep.
And it was just, we just tried to like push through. Like, we knew there'd be periods, we might have 3 awesome hours and then everyone would be getting sick of each other and sick of rushing onto trains that leave in 30 seconds at the station. And so our solution was, like, if it's the morning, go to a cafe, Ruby get a Coke Zero, I get a coffee, and if it was afternoon, I go get an Asahi, and we chill out for like 30 minutes.
Absolutely, you just need those little circuit breakers.
Yeah,
we had a margarita after every flight with the kids.
Yeah, just to kind of chill out for a second and refresh and get ready for the next activity, because we're very much a family that does activities. We're not a holiday and sit on the beach and do nothing. It's go, do everything we possibly can. But we needed to have a few breaks. So that, like, it was awesome. One of the best experiences I've ever done. I'd love to go back and do it with like another family or do it with a group of guys and friends. Like, I feel like there'd be totally different trips to the things we did with the kids. Yeah. Stuff that I loved, like going to the theme parks and the museums that the kids did, like, awesome.
Brilliant.
But would also be cool to see some of the shopping at night and the nightlife and that sort of stuff with another family.
The street racing.
Yeah, the street racing. Well, I saw this on the street, so you can rent that car.
We're going to have to do that. I mean, if Tourism Japan's listing and they want to sling us a GTR for a weekend, then we'll happily take that.
Yeah. So that was probably the best family experience. One of my favourite days. So me and Dom Tyson, a friend of the show, as we said.
Yep.
We went to Europe 12, 13 years ago, I reckon now, and had one of the best days of my life ever. Was in Portugal, in Lagos, where we got up and rented bikes. I think we did our running session in the morning.
Yep.
We rode through a winery to a golf course, played golf on a empty course, had a bottle of wine at the end of it. Amazing. Rode our way back in, had like seafood on the water in the afternoon, then went out for drinks that night. And it was just 30 degrees at the beach, playing golf, having the best day ever. And that was awesome. That was a really good experience. Something that I'll never do again, being single, traveling into a beach overseas in Portugal. I'll be wrestling the 4 kids around there. But
yeah.
that was awesome. That was one of our best days.
I'm surprised you didn't say my Bucks party weekend in Queenstown.
We won't talk that. We won't talk that.
Yeah. There is a $18,000 outstanding Airbnb fine, which seems to have been waived after a number of years, but some significant water damage, which was done by my brother-in-law.
Yeah, no, we've wiped that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, mate, I guess I'm really curious. I apologise. I forgot. I had some accolades I wanted to read, but I think it's probably relevant to what I want to talk about next with you, which is sort of potentially post-career and life. Although, obviously, as I say, you're the cockroach and you managed another year and who knows, but we've got here premiership player in Melbourne's 2021 AFL Grand Final win, cementing his status as part of the club's modern era success. So this is generative AI. I used Perplexity, which is brilliant. So it spat out your accolades for me. Reached 200 games for Melbourne, becoming just the 26th player in the club history to hit the milestone and celebrated it with a win. Do you know what game that was or who that was against?
200th against St Kilda.
There you go. And passed through 30 AFL games and 160-plus goals for Melbourne by 2025, making him one of the club's long-serving key position players. So it's an amazing career. It's funny because I guess knowing you in the context outside of footy, like I feel like footy is although it's such a big part of your life, as a friend to me and I think our friendship group, it's almost like a non-entity.
Yeah, we don't talk about it much, do we? Really?
Yeah, which
I'm more keen to see you boys and just catch up and hear stories.
No, for sure. And like that's the beauty of it. But like it's an incredible achievement, and like I'm so proud of all my mates who've forged a career and done that. But I guess you're also so impressive off field, and I guess what kind of tracks you're laying, or what does the future look like for you? Although there might be another year, I don't know. Hopefully,
I'd say probably not. I've said
is that an exclusive we can? No, I'm really joking.
I've for the last couple of years, I thought it was going to be my last year, and I ended up playing pretty much every game the last couple of seasons and played on. So a little bit surprising, but I'd say most likely not the case. Not to say that I wouldn't, but there's a lot of other factors rather than just are you offered a contract to play? You just automatically say yes. Is not always the case, especially family considerations, the next stage of life, what's best for moving forward, like what is a short-term decision versus long-term. But I would say at the end of last year, I was very close to going into a job in finance. So I studied commerce. I finished that. I've been doing some short courses in
6 foot finance.
6'4" finance. Yeah, tick that off. Just call that girl up. So I was going to go. I had an interview with BlackRock and one with Vanguard set up for 2 days after I actually got my contract extension. So the footy club were not planning on giving me a contract to play at the end of last year, which I was fine with. I was ready to move on. And then they came in and they said, hang on, actually, we want you to stay. Would you stay on for another year? Mm-hmm. And I had an interview like 3 hours later.
Like another kid coming.
Well, to be honest, like financially, probably not like at this stage of my career. I'm not earning what I did earlier in my career. So it wasn't really a financial decision. And probably in the long term, if I was going to go into finance, getting a head start and going into the next job might be the better decision. But we love the lifestyle of having the kids come to the MCG and watch, coming to see us train, our friends and family that we have at the footy club. So a lot more goes into it rather than just how much money you're going to get paid and the idea of being a professional athlete. So
just great insight.
A lot of awesome things about the footy club that it ended up being an easy decision. Let's play another year. My body's still okay. If your body was really broken, it becomes a more difficult decision because if you're using anti-inflammatories and painkillers to get up for training and games, that becomes really miserable. And I'd done that before.
Your bum for the...
Yeah, the Toradol on the bum for the grand final. Like that. If you're doing that long term, it's a really miserable sort of existence as a professional sports person. But so we ended up doing that. And at that stage, I thought, I'm going to go into finance. And then this last 6 to 12 months, the footy club had entered me into this program to learn how to be a general manager of a football club in the long term. So I did this course for 6 months and I really enjoyed it. And I don't think I really want to be a coach, but I really like the strategic thinking of if you're running a footy club, what's the long-term vision or long-term strategy? How do we set this club up for the future, which is more of a general manager role rather than a coaching role. So now I'm sort of split. Do I want to pursue that and keep learning how to run a sports team? It wouldn't have to be footy, but or do I go down the finance, which is probably what I spent the last 6 or 7 years learning off field through my degree and some of the other short courses I was doing.
A professional race car driver? You could be like the Travis Kelce, like, he's obviously going to be like slated as the next Hollywood star.
That's
you
with
could
the
be
podcast.
our Aussie cinema kind of,
Oh, look, I love driving and I like doing a track day, but no, I don't think that's for me. But so to be honest, I'm not sure, but it'd be one of those two tracks, whether it's a finance world or staying in sports and maybe, more managerial, even analytical side of it I really like. Don't mind coaching, but I see my strengths more in the strategic thinking of a club.
Yeah, I think either way you'll be very successful, and I'm sure your wife will be happy to have you around a little bit more. Obviously chasing after the little rugrats. But mate, I guess the other couple of questions I had, sort of just quick fire. I mean, what's your coffee order now? Is it what do we
Strong latte,
one per day, or
I do probably 2.
because what does our mate Tomo have? He has
like 4 long blacks.
Incredible. I had a migraine after the first one.
Just listen to this podcast actually.
Yeah.
The Acquired podcast
you're
talking about the history of Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Do you know the original Coke recipe used to have 4 times the amount of caffeine in it?
Incredible.
And so I was thinking about that. I'm like, imagine if you had a couple of glasses of Coke back in the day. It also had cocaine in it, so
Jesus,
would have been a real pick-me-up.
It's the Huntress.
Yeah.
But
I'm probably 1 to 2 coffees a day.
Okay, because anyway, I feel like, is it Coke as well who Christmas, it was Santa, they used to be green. He used to dress
He
as
was a little
green,
elf, yeah.
and then it was Coke that made
Coke made him red.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, you ran us through your best day, what that looks like. You've already lived it. I'm surprised your wife wasn't involved in that, or your kids. But do you want to retake that question? Or what about your best day now as a parent of,
Well, to be honest, like game day, an MCG game at 1:10 on a Saturday, where you wake up a day like this where it's, sunny but not too hot, and you get to spend the morning with the kids. So it used to be before a game, you would sit around stressing, worrying about the game, just thinking about the game. Now I don't really have time to think about it because I'm busy chasing shits around all day and changing nappies.
Knackered by the time you're to the ground.
But it distracts you. It takes your mind off the game. Like I think I've played more consistent footy since I've had kids because you're not thinking about the positives or the negatives of what you've done that week, or I haven't had good prep this week. I didn't sleep very well last night. Like,
it's irrelevant.
They don't give a shit about that. Like, you just sort of got to cop it. And
Dad's here.
You've got to go to work. The next day you got to go to work. So, but it's actually helped me because I think I was a big thinker. I'd get down on myself when things were going badly, and I'd get too full of myself when it was going well. And I couldn't sort of keep an even keel. So kids has helped that. So an ideal day is honestly like, playing at the G on a Saturday afternoon, spending the morning with the kids, have them come and watch a game, seeing them in the rooms afterwards, and then going to dinner with them that night, maybe going to a pub with the Gorns and the Levers and the Vineys, all the guys who've got kids, having the kids hang around and play afterwards. Like, it's a pretty good day.
That's magic.
Yeah.
And what about, is there anything that you're sort of watching or listening to or reading right now? You mentioned obviously Acquired. I know you've listened to like the IPL and the NFL episodes you're loving.
Acquired's awesome. It's like they only do 5 or 6 podcasts a year. They spend 2 months researching a topic and then do a 4 or 5 hour podcast on it. I like the Contrarians, which Radio Mike is producing.
Right.
I like Hamish Andy podcast. Friend of the show, Jack Post as well there.
Yes,
Hamish, the Melbourne supporter. So we got introduced a few years ago, and he's good friends with Maxi Gorn now.
Yes, they ride together. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, cycling. They're
Light
big
Club,
cyclists.
Langers and
And I like some NFL podcasts. So like the Bill Simmons Sports podcast is
Bill
good.
Simmons. Yep.
And I watch a lot of YouTube. I sort of use YouTube as a podcast as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about any programs, like any genres you're into? We mentioned Taylor Sheridan, like obviously Yellowstone, but you're also into the Mayor of Kingstown.
I've been obsessed with. I've done the last 2 seasons in 2 weeks.
Pretty gritty, not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, it's not a fun show to watch before bed, I'd say, but compelling. I actually like PlayStation still. If a good game comes out, I can get into PlayStation for a bit.
You're hankering for number 6, aren't you? GTA
6. I think
is that
we all are,
the pregnancy was timed around release?
We need you to have another baby. So we can play together at night.
No, absolutely.
But I might go 6 months and not play PlayStation. Then I'll play flat out for a month at night time. So but I go in waves of what I like.
Yeah. Well, mate, whatever's ahead, no doubt it's going to be very successful for you. You're a great family man, a great man. Thanks for joining me today. And thanks for listening, everybody. And hopefully we'll look forward to the next guest. Cheers, mate.
Percy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
None of your business. None of your business. None of your business. None of your business.